UDA party, or elected by UDA party, 138 members out of 290. I found out that most of them, out of 138, most of them were youths. And it's so encouraging for us to fire. And I like to urge the UDA party to consider the youths during nominations, so that when someone fires a youth, like me where I come from Nyamira, when someone fires, even if he's a youth, an old person, consider youths. My experience in leadership, I'm still young and I'm a leader. So, so I just urge my fellow comrades to fight for these seats.
Thank you very much. Comrades, power! Power! Comrades, power! Power! Viva, comrades, viva! Viva! The comrade is really comrading, right? So, you feel free, you engage. This is how it feels being where you are. So, do you have anything?
Yes, I would love to ask Professor Machuki. We have been listening as the young people, we've been hearing transformative agenda, bottom up. What is this really about? And as with regard to especially the better plan, what is this really about? To kindly in 3 minutes.
Thank you very much, Ms. Marua, for that question. Comrades power. Comrades power. I don't feel the power. Comrades power. Very good. Thank you very much. I sit here very elated and happy that there is this opportunity to engage the young people who form the engine of development, because Kenya is abundantly supplied with this huge bulge, and in the better plan that is anchored on the vision of His Excellency the President, and where we sit as an economic council, we act as the think tank of the President to ensure that the transformative agenda is operationalized and mainstreamed in all sectors of our society, including the youth. So the question is, what is this bottom-up transformative agenda? What is this plan? What is the better plan all about? I will start this way. That for a long time, Kenya has been doing its development and putting in place policies that originate from the top for those who control the capital of this country. And therefore, many who are at the bottom of the economic pyramid are only consumers of the policies that are developed in boardrooms, and they are then trickled down into the people, and the people don't understand what it is all about. So during the county economic forums, we listened to the people. The UDA party listened to the people and came up with the ideas and came up with the issues that affect the masses at the bottom of the pyramid, including the young people. And out of that, then the plan that is empirically informed by the issues that affect those at the bottom of the pyramid. So the better plan is anchored on a number of priorities that have the concern at the bottom of the pyramid. One is inclusivity. When you talk about inclusivity, you have all the young people and everybody is brought on board. Number 2 is job creation. Because many at the bottom of the pyramid are excluded from the blue-collar jobs, white-collar jobs, and therefore there is a need to formalize the informal sectors where the masses operate. Number 3 is about enhancing and broadening the revenue base for those at the bottom of the pyramid so that everybody can have pesa mfukoni. Number 4 is about the foreign exchange balance. And that is why we talk about labor mobility for the diaspora Kenyans and the local youth who can then find opportunities abroad. And number 5 is to deal with anchor, njaa, you see, and food security. So when you look at all that, it then requires a transformative agenda. That transformative agenda takes the views, takes the concern of those at the bottom of the pyramid and translates policy, framework, and interventions to deal with those concerns. And if you look at the plan asks a very important question. To realize these priorities, what do we do to have a quick turnaround? Then you have 5 pillars that will create jobs quickly, that will deal with hunger, that will bring everybody on board. Number 1, agricultural transformation as the first pillar. Now, quality housing, but also the jobs are created there. So this is a whole transformation from trickle-down thinking to bottom up. The thinking and bottom up. The thinking and the origination of ideas is from those who need invest. And that is the whole thing about bottom up. And that is where we come in as a think tank to process policy for purposes of operationalization and the institutionalization of this plan in all sectors of the economy, within government, state agencies and ministries and state departments. Thank you.
A good clap for Daktari. Just a quick reminder, Comrades power. I love to remind you this, that if you go to school like all of you are in school, you can pay school fees, but if you don't pay attention, you don't pass your exams. So as our panelists actually put out their heart and share with us, kindly take notes because we'll be coming to a question session and we don't want you to ask questions that are out of context. There's so much content that is coming out here. So Gitonga was here and he said, Comrades, wisdom. Wisdom means this, that you pay attention because you can pay fees, but if you don't pay attention, you don't pass your exams. Tumeelewana? Comrades power.
Power.
A very quick one. Honorable Duale, what is the problem with MCAs?
Thank you so much, moderator. My name is Hassan Duale, a member of County Assembly here in Nakuru, and also a NEC member of UDA at the national level. I'm also the whip of all UDA MCAs countrywide. So that tells you first where the UDA has placed young people. Moderator, I don't know if there is any problem with MCAs, but basically, you know the work of an MCA: legislation, oversight, and representation. So that is what we are doing at the county level, and at a personal level, 3 months ago, the governor passed a bill that is called, assented to a law now, a bill that is called Nakuru Sports Management Bill of 2023. That bill, I'm the sponsor, and Waziri is here. She can say, she's my witness. That bill, we came up with we thought of, basically where is it? We have to come up with laws or rather bills that change people's life. So I thought the only way that we can create employment, not of course not permanent, is to come up with a legislations that is going to change people's life. The bill, basically, we have come up with, we put place policies and guidelines that is going to govern sports facilities in Nakuru and all sports disciplines. So it's now an act. Imagine it has employed, of course not permanent, it has employed 200 young people that sits in that, that board. At the county level, we have 7 people who sits at the county, that management committee that runs the sports. And at the ward level, we also have another 7 young people that run sports, sports disciplines around the ward. So, moderator, as you can see, we don't have a problem, but we are trying to sort out some of these problems. So, thank you so much.
I deliberately asked what is the problem with MCAs, because as a country, we are obsessed with negative messaging. You know why I asked that? So that he can tell you what they are doing. Hello? Comrades, power. MCAs are contributing to the development of the country. They are contributing to the management of public affairs. In a few sentences, he's actually told you what they can do. So, wakati ule unasikia kukienda watu wanapiga kelele, kuna kazi inatendeka. I'd love to ask my co-moderator here. Do you have a question for Anne, for example?
Yes. Yes, Anne. I would love to ask about youth labor mobility, especially in your department. What is the position, what is the place of youth? You've realized in my questions I'm kind of biased as I asked Ms. Josephine the same, because we'd really want to know what is the place of youth in your various departments and what are you doing, especially with regard to labor mobility of youth in your department?
Thank you so much. Comrades, power. Comrades, power. My name is Anne. I'm a nominated MCA in Nakuru County, and I'm also a Vice Chair, Labor and Gender Committee. What my colleague failed to mention is that 60% of us, we are youth. And the Sports Act, the Sports Bill that is now an act, was passed by the major votes. Actually, all the youth in the MCAs, we voted for it. Therefore, we have very good intentions for our youth. If I can mention a few numbers so that we can get the heaviness and the impact of youth in Nakuru County, is that from Nakuru County we have a population of 2.1 million, and 32% of that is ages between 15 and 34. Therefore, 700,000 is the youth. That is such a huge number that is currently needs a lot of attention from both the government, both the social organizations, and because of that, like our CEC Sports, Josephine has said, I'm the sponsor of the Nakuru County Youth Engagement Service. And from that Nakuru Engagement Service bill, we are going to have a board. And that board will be run by the youth themselves. The board will engage the budget making process. We are going to be in control of our own budget. Unlike right now, we have no control of our own budget. From the board, we are going to be in control of our own employment. Unlike right now, employment comes from so different areas, and at times our youth will lack the means and the connections to get the jobs, the connections to get the employment, and also to get the training and the programs that we need. Therefore, from the board that is run by us, the youth, we are able to get all the needs that we need. We are able to control our life because we've said it is now. This is our time to take responsibility of our lives. This is a time where our money will work for us. The money of the county will work for us. We are going to be part of the public participation because from the budgets that we make, we are going to sit down as the youth. We decide that the programs that we want for this financial year is A, B, and C. Unlike right now, most of us do not know how many programs we have in the county, how many programs are coming for the next financial year. And through the public participation, the youth across all Nakuru County will be taken through the budget process, making process, so that we are able to take control of our lives.
Thank you very much. Good applause for her. Anyway, hiyo sio makofi ya kupigia dada, lakini ni sawa, nimewasamea. Now, James, Mr. James Maina, I'd love you to take time and just take us through affordable housing. These are young people, and as we build, there is one thing that is actually certain, that we cannot always prepare our young people for the future, but we cannot always prepare the future for our young people, but we can prepare our young people for the future, and that is precisely where you come in. Please tell us about affordable housing and where they come in.
Thank you. Good morning, comrades. Comrades power. Comrades power. Thank you. Let me start by saying the future is now. The future is not tomorrow. I say this because I was here almost 25 years ago to work for the plan for Nakuru City when I was a student at the University of Nairobi. Maybe little did I know that one day I'll come and sit in front of you and say, we are realizing what I saw when I was young. I work for the State Department for Housing and Urban Development. We are charged with the responsibility of managing or organizing all our cities in the Republic of Kenya and ensuring that Kenya have cities and urban areas that are able to be livable cities. And cities today is the future of our generation. Why do I say so? The data we have tells us by 2050, half of our population in Kenya will be living in urban areas. And you can see, when I was here, I think in 1998, this city had only 250,000 people, and today it has more than doubled. We are also charged with the responsibility of implementing the Constitution. Article 43, 1 of the Constitution, commits the government to provide adequate housing for all the citizens. It's a right. You can demand from the government right for a livable house. And together with the county governments, that responsibility is bestowed on us. And that's where the center of my work is. That's where my work revolves. And today, after cumulative years of trying to sort out housing in our urban areas, we have a shortfall of 2 million houses which have not been built. And the demand every year, as I've indicated how cities are growing, is 250,000 a year. We are only able to provide, or we have been only able to provide 50,000 houses. What is the implication? Our cities do not develop as livable cities. Probably, I don't want to use this word, but probably if this is let go, if you don't plan for this, if you are not strategic in this, if you are not intentional, we result in slums. And the government over the years have tried to work this issue of housing, and housing derives from 2 areas: the income of the people and the cost of the house. From the data that we have, a majority of our people earns below 50,000 Kenya shillings. And their requirement for housing, based on the world standards, 30% of that can only be used for housing. Meaning, if 75% of our people earn below 50,000 Kenya shillings, it only means most of our people cannot be able to own a home. And in our urban areas, only a few, most less than 80% of the population do not own their homes. And they live in informal settlements, which are very expensive. In terms, and you can take the average cost. A person living in a slum pays 10 times for water the cost of a person who is living in an upmarket area. Electricity equally, they pay 3 times the cost. Therefore, whatever they earn, they are unable to make money and make saving. And this is the center of affordable housing program. And for you to make affordable housing, or for you to make an affordable house, you have to make that cost come down. And you must create a capital in order for you to ensure that this house is affordable. And you also make sure that land is accessed. So, in our program of affordable housing, which we have started in earnest after the signing of the affordable housing bill, which was accented this year by the president, and the affordable housing created an affordable housing fund with a tax of 1.5 from the income or salary from the employee and 1.5 from the employer. This now creates the capital base to ensure that there is funds to develop a affordable housing. And this also creates confidence in the investor that there is money. If they build the houses, they are going to be paid. And the Kenya Kwanza government, in its ambitious program of providing 200,000 houses, this is the program we are working on. We have rolled, currently from March, we have rolled 160,000 units across Kenya. Here in Nakuru, it's real. We have already completed 605 units in Bodeni. We have 220 units in Obagon, 220 units in Molo, and we are expecting to complete these houses by December. Remember, we started these houses in January. Rarely do a government project get completed within the timelines of the project cycle that it was planned for. And this one, guys, it will be ready by December. Then there is always a question people ask, why build houses? No one lives in the slums. I mean, everyone has come from a house, isn't it? Sure? So why the house today? Yes, you have the shortage, but there is a twin cycle of creation of employment. For every house you build, you create direct more than 2 jobs, 2 to 3 jobs direct, because there must be an architect, there must be an engineer, and there must be an electrical engineer. Those are 3 direct jobs. And the variation continues. You have plumbers, you have electricians, you have foodies. The cycle continues. You have manufacturing, you have cement factories, you have companies that make bulbs. But you do also have the people who feed the workers. So it's a long variation, and cumulatively you can create 8 jobs in one house. So if you are able to build 100 houses in 1 year, how many jobs are you likely to create? We do have in our universities, in 2023, 560,000 students in our universities enrolled. In TVET, we do have over 400,000 students enrolled in TVET. A majority of them are working or studying works related to the built environment. And this is a direct job created by affordable housing. Come to think of it, out of all these students, only a probable of 10% that are accommodated within their campuses. I can pick an example. I was a student in the New University of Nairobi. At the time I was a student, I think we were 15,000. Today, it has 50,000 students have been enrolled there. Not even a single hostel has been added. Under Section 2 of the Affordable Housing Act, it gives opportunities for construction and development of affordable housing, institutional housing, and hostels for students. And we have already identified, through working with your institutions, 78 colleges across Kenya that we are going to build affordable housing units for students. And most of our students, we have also learned that they are also living in formal settlements. These are not environments for studying. Therefore, we have embarked on a positive, intentional, to provide student housing for the students. And of course, while we are working with the students, we also want to work in skill development for the students. When the students are in school, we will give them attachments to our programs. Universities and colleges usually send their students in the course of training for 3 months, and we are attaching students. Currently, we have attached over 2,000 students in our program. And then we also give them internships to gain more skills once they complete their schools. And of course, the promise of a job is real. Coupled with this, in terms of manufacturing, one of the reasons why manufacturing do not happen is because we don't have effective demand. And I'll put an example. Under the housing that we are building currently, because as I said, we must work on livable cities. Livable cities means that you can walk to your place of work. You don't have to take long distances. All services are provided. And this is also an objective and also a requirement by the Affordable Housing Act. The Affordable Housing Act further states that it is not only providing affordable housing, but associated social and physical infrastructure, such as schools.
Director, just so that then we anchor in everybody else, we are running short. I think we'll be coming back to you so that you tell us how they can, step by step of them actually being able, everybody is ready to ask one question: how do I get a house? How do they come part and parcel? But the subject is heavy. I understand where you're coming from. Allow me to actually bring in Njue and Dr. Vincent to tell us about something that people keep on asking about: why do we have to export labor? You are in campus. That question keeps coming up. Probably you will ask it differently than me.
Thank you so much, Director, for those very elaborate insights on matters housing. Now, Prof. and Mr. Njue, recently we've been seeing the President doing labor agreements. Just a few weeks ago, he did one with Germany. And now, as youth, we've been wondering, is it that there are greener pastures outside there than there are in Kenya? Or why do we keep exporting this labor, be it skilled or unskilled labor? Kindly in 3 minutes.
In 2 minutes each, we will really appreciate.
Okay, thank you very much. Currently, we have a number of bilateral agreements that are about to be signed. We already have a bilateral agreement with the United Arab Emirates. We also have a bilateral agreement with Saudi Arabia and the state of Qatar. But those bilateral agreements are actually for domestic workers. We also have a bilateral agreement with UK for nurses, and recently a bilateral agreement was signed with Germany for all the cadres. Now, we know that we have so many graduates, but sometimes the graduates we have are not able to get jobs in Kenya. And therefore, with the skills that they have, if an opportunity arises, the best thing is to have that labor export. We also have other Kenyans who would always want to work outside the country. We cannot force them to work here in the country. But the moment they get those chances out there, we allow them to go. Currently, we have over 400 jobs that we have advertised in our website, www.nearims.go.ke. If you visit our website, you'll be able to see all those jobs. And therefore, when these jobs are there, Kenyans will always apply, whether locally or abroad.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Daktari, as you respond to that, please do figures. The question of why keeps on. Why are we taking our people outside? I would like you to talk about the people that arrive at the job market every year, what the economy can produce, and the opportunities elsewhere.
Thank you very much. I think we have to recognize one fact that we are operating in a global environment. The world has been globalized, and we talk about a global village. And a global village means that if you are in Kenya, conceptually, you are operating in an environment where you can take advantage of opportunities that arise in any part of this globe. During the engagement of different stakeholders, among those that were engaged in the development of the better plan are those in the diaspora. And what you realize is that whether we like it or not, we have had Kenyans who are working outside the country. So what happened is that for a long time, there has been an informal way of having these Kenyans going individually to seek for those opportunities and therefore come to think of the over 600,000 every year that we produce from our learning institutions. Kenya, globally, and in Africa, is known for having an abundant supply of quality human capital. This is a resource. And one of the pillars, one of the priorities of the plan is foreign exchange balance and also broadening the revenue base. So instead of living in denial, government deliberately pointed out that, look, the diaspora people in the diaspora have so many issues that they engage with. You find that somebody has been smuggled out of the country. The size of the economy we have in Kenya can only be able to accommodate in the formal sector, that is in the public sector, not more than 1 million jobs. In the formal blue job market, that is in the private sector, around 50,000. Then many of those that come from the universities and our TVETs and other training institutions, the economy cannot absorb. Yet, we train this very high quality human capital. We are operating in a global market where demand supply operates. And Kenya, as a government led by the president, has been very, very deliberate to come up with these bilateral labor agreements with different countries that have opportunities, and Kenya is in abundant supply of this human capital. And that is a way of saying that as part and parcel of the deliberate effort, we will want to have the youth, our Kenyans who are highly skilled, work anywhere in this world, putting Kenya comparatively and competitively higher than other countries, and that is the global standing of Kenya's labor. Secondly, you are asking that whether is it necessary to export labor. It is not about labor export. It is labor mobility. Today, you are working in the University of Nairobi. Tomorrow, you will find yourself being hired to work for Coca-Cola. And from one organization to another, it is just labor mobility. But when it comes to ourselves as a country, we have noted that one of those key resources that we can be able to export, just like other countries export oil, export other minerals and other resources that they have in abundant supply. Kenya is in abundant supply of labor, and the only way we can reap from the investment of producing this high quality labor is through export. And by that fact, we have to formalize. That is why deliberately the president established the State Department for Diaspora Affairs to deliberately organize our young people not to be exploited by unscrupulous recruitment agencies, not to be smuggled. It is not good to have our young people, our young Kenyans being smuggled. We have to formalize, and that is why it has been led by none other than the president himself, for decent jobs, for appropriate labor practices, and Kenya and those other countries, many of them that the president is engaging with, to have a common understanding that this is a resource that we are having in abundant supply, and therefore the resource must return the kind of investment that the country has put in to produce this kind of resource. That is from an economic perspective. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are getting to the top of the hour, and therefore we would love to transition to the open mic session where you are allowed to ask questions. I had told you earlier on, but I'll repeat the rules of engagement. Number 1, be civil. Number 2, take the shortest time as much as possible. We are having ushers take their position, and as ushers take their position, I'll come back to Mr. James Maina to tell us how somebody can actually, how the young people can actually step by step, just in a minute. Then before we take up the questions, I'll come back to you, Dr. Machuki, on UHC. It's important that we speak about UHC. You know, the first liberation ilikuwa kufukuza mzungu. The second liberation was to get the new constitution and the good governance we have. The third, and in my opinion, final liberation is socio-economic empowerment, Article 43. So, health is actually part and parcel of that. Also, in a minute, we'll do that. So, for you, James, kindly, step by step, you already have told them that affordable housing si our baba peke yake. Even for students, we are doing it even in colleges. Now tell them how, at individual level, probably as themselves, families, and probably what you're doing in colleges.
Thank you. Now, this is how to access an affordable house. But before I explain how to access an affordable house, we have categorized our affordable housing into several clusters of modules. We have an affordable house we call social housing. We have what we call affordable housing. Affordable housing is a little bit higher in terms of finishes and standard than the social house. The social house is categorized for people who earn below 25,000 shillings. Affordable house is categorized for people who earn up to 50,000 Kenya shillings. And we also have market housing, which is a little bit larger, and they categorize for people who earn 100,000 and above. For you to access an affordable housing, you must be a holder of a Kenyan identity card. So you only need an identity card for you to own an affordable housing. Dependent on the unit you want, there will be a deposit, and for you to be able to raise the requisite deposit for your unit, we have a program for saving we call Boma Yangu. Boma Yangu is the marketplace where buyers of the affordable housing will meet. And that's where we upload all our houses. This process is not supposed to have human interaction, so that no one is biased on the choice of the person. So you start by going to your phone or your laptop, star 832 hash. If you dial that, you start saving. And you can start saving with any amount. You keep on saving until you raise your deposit. If you are unable to raise your deposit, there is a deposit finance that will be given. And you select the unit where you want in the country. There you are. There's no human interaction. And the Affordable Housing Board, within that process, it will allocate houses to the beneficiaries. And then, this is a sweeter deal that the fund provides you with a loan that you can pay for that years. If you want to pay it in 5 years, you pay. If you are unable, continue paying 1,000, 2,000 every month until you own that house. And you can also move your house. You can also move with your house. You know, one of the difficult aspects in life is to transport your house, put it in a roll loader. You have been transferred to Nairobi. Now you don't know how you are going to leave that house. What you only need, you identify another house. If your first employment was in Nakuru, or if you are in Nairobi, you have been transferred to Nakuru, you identify the house in Nakuru, you use the amount of money that you have been paying, and then look for another affordable housing. And then you apply for the transfer of your unit. Haven't you not transported your house to Nakuru from Nairobi?
Yes, you have.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause. Comrades, power.
Mics.
It's time for open mic, but just before we do that, I'd love Dr. Machuki kindly for universal health care. Kindly take us through that in a minute or two. So
Thank
that
you.
guys can understand what SHA, SHIF, and the others are.
Thank you very much. I didn't say that I'm a university professor, and I want to introduce this aspect of universal health coverage from a semantics point of view. When you talk about universal, and those of us who come from universities, from colleges and so forth, university is a universal place where access to knowledge for utilization to deal with social problems. Universal means access to everyone. Access to everyone. That is the first thing that we have to understand about universality of health care. A health nation is economically productive. When an assessment has been done in this country, we know that quality health care is the preserve of a few who are able to afford. When that assessment was done, and several attempts to universalize health coverage and health care provision, it was established that the healthcare system in Kenya requires an overhaul. Let me start then. What are the core aspects of universal health coverage? One, access to drugs and other health commodities, like the x-rays, the reagents and all that. That's one. Two, the facilities themselves. The facilities from level 1 all the way to level 6. And I'm speaking this with the knowledge that all of us who are here know that the Kenya Constitution in 2010 provided for the devolution of health services. So there is what happens at the national level, there is what happens and what is in the control of the county governments. Number 3 is financing of health care. I want to ask everyone, or a few of those who are here, how many of us have ever been invited to WhatsApp group, either you are raising funds for a medical bill, or somebody unfortunately passed, but for that person's remains to be interred, you have first to deal with the medical bill? How many of us? Okay, it appears that we have never contributed to the medical bills. Now, let me then get to why those were the problems that brought in the idea of universal health care. The president already has assented to 4 legislations that operationalize universal health care. And believe you me, these 4 things that I've mentioned have been the problem. One, with regard to financing, there has been National Hospital Insurance Fund, National Health Insurance Fund, and a whole issue of governance with regard to who contributes and with regard to how the claims are managed. There was, and the evidence exists, and if you need to get the evidence, we found that several health facilities that are private concord that they have done some amputations, 100 of them exiting KNH, that men have given birth, they are claiming, and so many of those. So we found the issue of governance in healthcare financing. How come that you have a list of men, a hospital facilities claiming that those guys have, given birth and they are claiming? So there is a lot that happened in the healthcare financing. So the Social Health Insurance Act that created Social Health Authority came in to deal with this problem in conjunction with the Digital Health Act and then the Health Facilities Financing Act. All those acts are intended to ensure that the contributions, and how are the contributions arrived at? Affordability. Through the means testing instrument, those who contribute through the formal pay slip, that is known, and it goes, and you have a package. But those who are not employed, the youth and the households, we now moved from the individuals to households, so that from a household, there is a contribution that goes into the National Social Health Insurance that once the primary health care, which is guided by the Primary Health Care Act, and that is provided free by government, then you move to social health insurance, where now it is contributory, and then you move to the critical illnesses and emergencies, which initially you could not get access. Now, there has been detailed policy conversations that have used empirical data to compare the provision of health services under a previous arrangement and the current universal health coverage that has now determined areas of intervention. And now that universal health coverage has been rolled, it is the implementation that we are focusing on. And that is where a lot of other interventions like financing, that is where we are focusing on. But otherwise, it is agreeable across board with county governments and all other stakeholders that the healthcare system in Kenya required an overhaul to realize access to affordable, quality healthcare for all Kenyans. And because it's not a matter that can be prosecuted here within the 10 or 2 minutes that you have given me, it should be a conversation that our young people who are here need to be able to understand to granular details, so that the perceptions and the messaging is clear. That clarity requires probably an arrangement with the young people solely for universal health coverage, because it affects the core of existence of our people and the health of our nation. And therefore, when a moderator, I think I have alluded one that we needed to deal with 4 problems. The first one is financing. The second one is the health care facilities. The fourth is affordability. And the fifth is all about governance. And that is why we needed to do an overhaul. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's give them a round of applause. Let's clap for our panelists. I was standing right here. Just that. I was standing right here and I asked people to clap, but he wasn't clapping. So, for purposes of fairness, I would love him to clap alone. Yes. Comrades, power. Comrades, transact. Inakuja, relax. Now, the panelists have been talking and you've been listening. Sawa sawa. Now it's time for you to also talk and then they listen. Sawa sawa. Conversations are two-way. I'd love to have the ushers standing up with microphones, please. Ushers, wherever you are, you stand up. Like we said, keep it short and sweet. Kiss. So I'd love to begin here. Anyone? Where's the mic? Mine, yangu sipeani. Asha, Asha tafadhali. Is that on? Control on the other side. Get me that.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Juguna Ayub, that's my name. I'm a student from Egerton University, currently taking my Masters of Arts in English Language and Linguistics. First, before I pose my question, I want to put a simple something that was questioned about youth and politics. I'll tell you it is not easy for a youth to go into politics. One, it is the monetization of our politics. If I was to vie for Senate in Nyandarua County today, I don't have 10 million to go printing posters and all that. One, there is a lot of challenge in monetization of politics. Number two, it is the societal mindset. If today I was to vie for a member of parliament, I would be told I'm a boy, or I still have a milk teeth, I don't have beard and all that. So there is a lot that needs to be done with the society so that we can change their perception about leadership and the youth. Now, to come to my question, I have heard people all over speak about our labor and being of high quality. But as I said, I'm a master's student, so I had some time out, and I will tell you there is a great lift that exists between the skills that we get from the university and what the employer demands. So at the times, I would wish people from the labor movement or the labor ministry to give a recommendation to the Ministry of Education so that we can have a harmonization so that whatever we learn from the university is the same skills that we go to apply in the field. That's why every time you go, yes, I'm finishing. Every time you go to ask for a job, you are told, you should have 10 years or 15 years experience, yet you are only 13. Because they believe that what we learn from the university is not good enough to make you work. So I plead, and what are some of the strategies and recommendations that we can give to the Ministry of Education so that we can harmonize the skills that we learn from the university so that we can go and apply them to the workplaces without all the 50 years work experience that is always demanded. Thank you.
Clap for him. The next person, please be brief. We've got so many hands. Next one here, Ashas, please. I'd love to actually work with you so that it's much easier.
My name is Socrates, and I have one question. And before my question, I'll state this, that the news about the lioness being pregnant cannot be brought by a goat. So, to my question.
That is wisdom.
To my question, in what ways can we leverage technology to enhance transparency and inclusivity in our political processes? I repeat, in what ways can we leverage technology to enhance transparency and inclusivity in our political processes? Thank you.
That is Socrates. On this other end, I want us to balance. We'll be coming down there.
Comrades power. By name, I'm Magadi Denish Olwach, a student at Kabarak University, and I have two questions to the person.
Please make it one, kindly.
Oh, one question.
Yes.
So, the comrades who are here are not only intelligent but also intellectuals. How do you support them? You've talked about inclusive leadership. How do you support them in playing the roles in inclusive leadership? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We can move to the front here. Ashas.
Good evening, ladies, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Comrades, power. Comrades, wisdom. My name is Evan Skipkorir Serem from Kabarak University and a representative of Kericho County UDA Comrades chapter. I have a question here. Secretary General, sir, now that we have the UDA Comrades chapter, how is it that immediately we move from campus? What is it that the party will do to keep these ladies and gentlemen here on toes and open them opportunities from government? Why don't we do it this way? We ensure that in every county chapter, hold on. In every county chapter, why don't we open a branch for these ladies and gentlemen so that when they complete their studies, we have their details and all their issues of what they studied, then we hand over to government so that they can open them opportunities. And finally, finally. Since we are all students here, I have a concern, and we are university students. It is on the issue of education. My constituency of Soinsi Gawet, we have a bursary of 189 million, and it is said that 40% should go to the bursary for education. 40% of 189 million is around 70 million. When you divide 70 million in average of 5,000 students in a constituency, every student should be given 8,000. But you find these students are not given those 8,000, but instead some are given 1,000 and some are not given anything. What? Hold on. Why? Since we love our party, why don't our party become the first one to create a legacy and disband all this bursary and make the entire university education free?
Finally, it was one question, you've already done two. Kindly.
Finally, let me finalize.
Okay, in a minute.
Let me finalize. And finally, on the issue of housing, hold on, give him time. On the issue of housing, this is a program by the government, and as comrades we are going to support. However, we are asking this, since our government will be exiting in the near future, who are we going to hold accountable? Because the lands where the houses are there belongs to the government. Thank you very much. May God bless UDA and may God bless Kenya. Thank you.
Asante, usipeane mic. Hold. Shika hiyo mic kwanza, shika mic. Usipeane kwa haraka. Ame-inject, haja-inject. Amewakilisha, hajawakilisha. Sisi kama UDA tuko hapa kuongea na nyinyi. Usifunge roho, fungua roho, sawa? Fungueni roho tuongee, sawa? Pigia yeye makofi. Mheshimiwa, unataka kiti gani?
Nimeulizwa anataka kiti gani?
Yeah.
2027 huko Kericho County. Tutaongea na SG nyuma ya tent tuone vile mambo iko. Asante.
Sawa. Now let's go on this side. Kindly uulize swali haraka.
Good afternoon, guys.
Run. Tunakuja.
Okay, thank you. With all protocols observed, you've been able to discuss about
Comrades power. Comrades power. Tumruhusu aongee, we are coming.
Okay,
you've discussed about
my name
universal.
Here, you here. Please talk. Raise your voice.
My name is Gati Lavender, a student leader from Kabarak University. You've discussed about universal health care. I believe currently we are shifting, there's a discussion where we are supposed to shift from NIF to SHIF. However, you find such policies, youth are not included when implementing such policies. So it's our kind request to the government when enacting such policies, it's our humble request that the youth should be able to be included because youth form part of this majority of the population, and I believe access to healthcare will be productive when we include the youth. Thank you.
Asante sana. Huku nyuma sasa. Comrades power. Comrades power. Tumefika nyuma sasa. Sini sawa? Haya, ready? Who is ready here to talk? Haya. Peana question? Hapa?
Comrades power. Comrades widow. One man once said that a one-legged man can never buy a what? A bicycle. I want to address our leaders. We have seen them and the agendas here. The things that you are addressing us here, thank you for the clear clarification. But the things that you are talking here, they are not addressing the matters that the comrades we are passing through. The comrades who are here, let us talk on behalf of the comrades. I am a comrade at Kabarak University. We have comrades who have stalled project here. Stalled project that we can monitorize them, but we have not seen such ideas in this form. The comrades here, when we get out of here, many comrades, let me tell you, we know this. Comrades, Kuinama ni nini? Do you know what is Kuinama? Our friends there may not know that, but let us address current issues that are affecting us, comrades.
Thank you.
We are making some promises here. Comrades transaction.
Ngoja mrudishie mic. Simama.
Yes.
Unajua ukiongea umepigiwa makofi sana, watu wakusikia unasema nini.
Yes.
So ningependa uende na sisi polepole.
Polepole.
Haya, issue number 1 ni kuinama.
Issue number 1, kuinama.
Yes, haya, fafanua because
issue number 2,
huko mbele kuna watu hawaelewi.
Kuna watu hawaelewi.
Kuinama.
Let me start with the second point.
Yes.
Tukikuja kuongea hapa, when you talk to these comrades, I know these are intellectual minds, right?
Yes.
I know some of us has many projects that we have on pocket here. But due to the system and the flow of things, we are not considered. So we want the council which is there to come with a way such that when we are learning, come at a project, if I know the UDA office is there, I can present my project, then I get the boost or the guidance that I need so that I can monetize it. Before I end my 4-year career, najua hiyo project yangu inanipea pesa. The second point, it is kuinama. Kuinama for the conference, it is not new, right? Kuinama, like I know 7 of us here, vile tulilala jioni, wameinama wakakuja hapa. I'm sure of that. Hata mimi. We should address the current issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What I'm trying to do, Comrades power. Comrades power. What I want us to do is you pass your point as clear as possible. Sawa sawa. So that then the people in front and the people who can respond to specific ones. But like I told you earlier on, your emotions and your passion are valid. Sawa? Lakini tuheshimu time ya watu wengine, dakika moja haraka haraka tafadhali. Next person hapa nyuma. Huku nyuma, tulieni. Hapo nyuma. The lady in red. Aya, listen.
Comrades power. Okay, I'm Irene Chepkemoy, a graduate from Kenyatta University. Nimeona watu wa Kenyatta hawako hapa. Kuna Kenyatta? That's good. So my question directs to it is about export of labor. Can you make it more pragmatic? Like you tell us in Nakuru County, you are supposed to visit this office and make your application.
Thank you.
And how can we tell the difference? Sometimes you can encounter fraudsters in the name of agencies. How can we differentiate the real connection from the government? And are we supposed to pay any fee or what are the requirements? I didn't get that clearly.
Thank you. That is a third one. Tafadhali. Kuna watu mbele.
One more. It is very important.
Okay, go ahead. Aya basi.
To the UDA party, how can you help a comrade who is transiting from campus politics to national politics without asking for those money? Like myself, I was shortlisted with Honorable Ndwale there to be gazetted as a nominated MCA, but I didn't make it. How are you going to help people like me who did not make it to sit there, but they are still hustling? Can you create for us other opportunities, because this position cannot be enough for all of us? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Comrades power. Aya, tumetoka huko nyuma, nataka tukuje hapa mbele. Hapa hivi. Aya, talk. Aya, tupatie space. Comrades power. Aya, tumpatie time.
Egerton University OA. My name is Nimo from Egerton University, pursuing Bachelor of Medicine and Surgery, third year student. Yeah. My question is, it is about the marginalized community. How can we better engage marginalized groups to participate actively in our political initiatives?
Thank you. I think you take that. Finally, allow us to come here.
Comrades power. Okay, I'm Fredo Soro Nyagaka from Egerton University. Currently, I'm the organizing secretary for KUKSA, Kenya University and Colleges Association. Okay, my question goes that now that we are in a Comrades chapter, what is the party's contributions towards solving the problem about the social issues affecting the Comrades, such as help? And now we know that the elephant in the room is about the new financial model and help, new funding model and help.
Thank you.
How is the party in solving the issue?
Okay, I think we will respond to that. Thank you. Comrades, mko. Nataka tusikizane. Unajua hapa ndani 70% tuko na watu wa TVET. So ni vizuri pia tukipatia university tupatie watu wa RFTT. Comrades power. Comrades power. Comrade respect. Comrade disperse. Haya basi ongea.
Comrades power. Comrades power. An ugly man with money is always a handsome man. I will speak the broken English as possible how European speaks.
Let me get to the audience. Guys from that corner, when you spoke, they listened. Tafadhali. Aya, mpatie nafasi aongee.
Okay, my question is, this is UDA. We are UDA. I was among the people who went around registering people. So I'm a live member of UDA. I'm number 91. So we were here 7:30. We should not be limited on matters to do with the time. We were here on 7:30. My first question is, why can't we have the nominated MCA to represent the Comrades? Why only appoint your friends and girlfriends? That's my first question. My other question is, we are in matters to do with Nakuru County. Who will represent the issues that we are going to raise here? Like, we should have the majority leader here, or the speaker, who will take our points to county assembly. My other question is, how many youths are benefited from tenders or contract from the county government? Sijamaliza. Swali yangu ingine ni, I was an intern in Nakuru County from the Department of Publics from Roads. Lakini after Susan kuingia, this is our party. After Susan kuingia, 537 students walitolewa from interns to jobless. Why? Yet we are saying kasi ni kasi. My other question is, who is representing us in the party? Are they representing, or the person sitting there being paid? Comrades power. Comrades power. My final question is, during the registration of the party, there are those people who use their own resources to register people and moving around up and down. Why can't we have a list of those who worked in selling the party being appointed as the nominated MCAs? That's my question. I have a friend, so many friends. Thank you.
Pigia makofi. We have asked a number of questions. I'd love people to respond to them, and then we go to round 2. So, quickly, I'd love the SG to start, because to deal with the political questions, then we will go to the other thematic questions. So, Comrades power. SG anaongea, kwa hivyo tusikize, he will respond to all of them.
Comrades power. I once was the chairman of the Moi University Student. Equally was chairman of the National Student Bank.
roho, sawa? Fungueni roho tuongee, sawa sawa? Pigia makofi. Mheshimiwa, unataka kiti gani?
Nimeulizwa anataka kiti gani? 2027 huko Kericho County. Tutaongea na SG nyuma ya tent tuone vile mambo iko. Asanteni.
Sawa sawa. Now let's go on this side. Kindly uulize swali haraka.
Good afternoon, guys.
Run. Tunakuja.
Okay, thank you. With all protocols observed, you've been able to discuss about
Comrades power. Comrades power. Tumruhusu aongee, we are coming.
Okay.
You've discussed about
My name
universal.
Here, you here. Please talk. Raise your voice.
My name is Gati Lavender, a student leader from Kabarak University. You've discussed about universal health care. I believe currently we are shifting, there's a discussion where we are supposed to shift from NIF to SHIF. However, you find such policies, youth are not included when implementing such policies. So it's our kind request to the government when enacting such policies, it's our humble request that the youth should be able to
political initiatives and endeavors. The same things that you have raised, that you need to be considered in public appointments, not only as MCAs, at any other level. There are young PSs today in this country. There are young CSs. There are young directors. This government must scout for leaders of various generations to ensure that there is a generational transition. Lastly, some of you asked me what the party will be doing. In the next few weeks, the party has already acquired a land to build what we call the UDA Political Academy, or the UDA Academy. We will start a syllabus, a curriculum that gives you that transition from the various aspects of leadership to national leadership. And some of you must come into that party and to use the words of the young people and occupy it so that we are able to displace those who have outlived their usefulness and their time. And therefore, when we start that academy will be a direct consequence of the Comrades chapter and other youth initiatives and other special interest groups, so that we respond to the desire to create a Kenya where we offer platforms for competitive leadership. And that's why I say, those of you who have been given the ladder to go up or socially move up political leadership must provide that ladder to others. The same way we were given that ladder many years ago, it is time now we extend it to those of you here to be able to climb up the ladder of political leadership and become presidents, ministers, governors, and other formations of this society from this Comrades chapter. Finally, I will transfer a lot of the technical questions back to these technical people. By the way, our engagements here is not a coincidence. We are here deliberately and intentionally. We are here to engage you, and as the moderators have said, we are willing to listen. We are a listening government. The President William Ruto is a listening president, and we have come here to harvest ideas for policy formulation. We have come here to ensure that all of us are able to participate in making sure that we create a country that is inclusive, both politically and economically. These agendas these professionals have talked about, policymakers and policy implementers, they have braved so that they can come in and correct the misinformation, so that they can give you the correct position about policy formulation and policy implementation. So I am very grateful to these great gentlemen who serve in various capacities in our government and our politics for having come here to be able to address some of these issues candidly, fairly, courageously, and in a manner that engages all of you to a very constructive engagement and conversation. Kwa hivyo tunataka tuwapigie makofi na tuwashukuru sana. I will speak towards the end of it, but there were a lot of political questions that were asked, and I thought it was necessary that we set the tone of why we are here and that this process is extremely fruitful, extremely constructive engagement, and that young man who's doing his master's from Nyandarua. Politics has been monetized. We want to make sure that the politics of the country, by those of us like Cecily Mbarire, Aaron Cheriot, and others like myself, those who don't have money but have sufficient ideas, can get a platform that we move from the politicization of politics to ensure that politics is managed by policy and the character and substance of an individual. For those many words, moderator, I don't want to take your role, but I can see there were various questions asked on housing, on universal health care, on matters of education, and therefore I think we have a competent panel to respond to that. I can see Professor Machuki and I were at Moi University at the same time. He was in the faculty of economics, I was in the faculty of law. We had the biggest strike ever in Moi University. Professor Machuki has made the right decisions. He's now a professor. I am a secretary general. Kwa hayo mengi, Professor, you can take lead from there.
Thank you very much. Comrades power. I feel you. And the issues being raised here are very important. Let me pick those that I'll be able to address very quickly so that we move faster. Do not feel like the issues you are raising are not important. They are very important, and that is why we are here. One, there is an issue with regard to monetization of politics and societal mindset towards young people or towards politics as it was put. Let me put it across this way. One of the issues around the better plan and one of the principles is democratization of the economy. That is one. Two, entrenching constitutionalism. And number three, transitioning from personal politics to issue-based politics. It is not something that is going to change overnight, and therefore those of us who are here and have ambitions, please, one, understand the requirements of your constituency and come up with issues and advance your plan so that the party cannot come and pick you from the house. The party should get you in the market. You should be sellable. And therefore, how you articulate issues is important. We are moving from that culture of monetization of politics to issue-based politics. And I want to believe, Secretary General, there is a program of getting people, the young people, who articulate issues, and they are in the market. And that academy for the party that you are developing, it will be able to address that particular gap. That is one. Two, for noting that there must be congruence between university training and the labor market requirements. Our human capital development program is a very elaborate program. And among the issues that we have been able to deal with, if you have read the report by the Presidential Working Party on education reforms, the congruence between the competencies that are being imparted in our education system and the requirements of the labor market have been taken into due consideration, and that is why a lot of concentration has been in those programs that add value and those programs that are linked to the requirements of the industry. And therefore, that is ongoing, and it is an elaborate program. Now, of course, this issue, Secretary General, that was raised about leveraging on technology to enhance transparency and inclusivity in political process, it is part and parcel of the core priority aspects in the better plan. Why? The issue of inclusivity. And when you talk about inclusivity, it cuts across economy, it cuts across political governance, leadership. And among the pillars that can deliver that in a short time, and it has already done, is the development of the digital superhighway, so that you are able then to be engaged. Such a kind of meeting, Your Excellency, let me call Your Excellency, Secretary General, is that it could be a program that the technology can be mainstreamed in the management of the affairs of the party, and that happens. Let me pick that which I think is on my part. Bursary on education. Lumping all these bursaries together, and there is inequity. Already what you have expressed, Comrade, is that you have different avenues through which government resources are channeled to fund education. But apparently, the resources are not adequate, or the way they are distributed is not perceived to be equitable. As a matter of fact, the university's new funding model, and all of you know that this is what we tried to deal with. But because it is a matter that is still been subjected to the judicial system, it is in court, I may not want to go deep into it, but it is part and parcel of the solution of putting all these funds together and be able to see how we can fund our education system. And therefore, that comes in there. There is a gentleman there, moderator, who talked about having projects that require some kind of support so that they can be self-employed after university. That is a very important aspect, and I know that is something from a university, those who do projects that eventually can come out here and they are incubated and they can, become business opportunities and so forth. I'll welcome such a kind of ideas, link with the State Department for MSMEs, because that is where we have a catalytic funding for supporting such a kind of innovations and so forth and so on.
Thank you.
Thank you, and given time, I'll be able to address a number of others, but from here, we are listening, and we feel that this is the correct and the right forum to have these ideas so that we can improve on our policy process. Asante sana.
Thank you, Dr. Comrades Power. I need to remind you one thing. I told you before the panelists came in, that talking is difficult. Dialogue is difficult, and that is why people fight. There's a reason why politicians run away from the ground. But we, as UDA, we are, and we know that we are the leader of society. We will not shy away from engaging you. Hello? Hatuogopi, sawa sawa? Finally, kuna swali nimeulizwa hapa na ni moto sana. Lazima nitafute mle mtu mwenye anajua hii biashara vizuri. About elections, about nominations, about how you come into this particular process and how you get up there. It's always a hot potato, but we will not shy away from these things. Hello? So I have got my Deputy Executive Director, who is also the Director for Elections, and he comes from Nakuru. Huyo ndio mtu anajua elections vizuri sana. Anaitwa Brian Higgins Mbugwa. I love him to come here, ni kijana wa Nakuru, so ako home. I'd love him to address some of the issues, especially those ones that came here na zilikuwa na passion mingi sana. I don't call it emotion, ni passion. In 3 minutes, Director.
Comrades Power. Comrades Power. Asanteni sana. There's a gentleman who said that to nominate girlfriends. Sijui nani. Ni sawa. It's okay. Si tumekuja kuongea. Nataka tusikizane, sawa? Uduale ni girlfriend ya nani? Uduale ni girlfriend ya nani? Okay? Let me tell you, as UDA party, hata ule msichana alikuwa jikoni, she's a nominated MCA. Ule messenger, no, she's a woman, 50 years and above. You know, there's a truth. What wanasema time is what? But that's not true. Do you know that? Because we all have 24 hours. Do we make the same money? So time cannot be money. So people say time is money. That's what you believe. But that's not the truth. Money is the value you bring at the marketplace. Ukikuja kwa soko, kenye mtu anaweza nunua, hiyo ndio inakupea pesa. But generally everybody say time is money. So mkikuja hapa mnasema time is money, which is not true. We all have, leo kila mtu akona 24 hours. Kuna mtu atamake 1,000, kuna mtu atamake 10,000, kuna mtu atamake 50,000. So as intellectual, you people need to think critically na muinterrogate vitu. For example, naonanga fake news inawekwa thestar.co.ke inasema SG inasema ABCD. A simple thing ni kuenda kwa page ya Star kuangalia if that the case. So on the issue of nomination, for example, Nakuru County Assembly iko na 55 wards. And how many nominated? 19. Hawa watu wote hapa hawezi kuwa nominated Nakuru. Okay? So you have to stand out. And how do you stand out? Most of these people walionominatiwa, they volunteered free of charge. There was no money. Hiyo time ya UDA ikianza, tulikuwa tunalimana na Uhuru. Hakukuwa na pesa. In fact, UDA ilizaliwa hapa Nakuru, kwa ile ward ya London, that by election. And those people who were nominated, most of them, they volunteered free of charge. Hakuna kuuliza, ukikuja hapa na nikulipe, I've paid you. Tudaiani. If I pay you value for your services, atudaiani. Hata sahi mimi nikilipo mshahara na UDA sinifanyie kitu ingine, tumemalizana nao. Yani they don't owe me anything. But kuna wale watu wana volunteer, they go out of their way. Kuna mtu alisema people, registered people with their own resources. Those are the things we consider first. Number one. Number two, on the issue of bursaries, for example, kuna mtu amesema constituency yao iko na 100 and something million. Kuna 290 constituency. Give it hesabu ya 100 million. How much is that? 29 billion. Sindio? Na alisema si yote ya bursary. Say 40%. Kuna students wangapi university? It can't be 6 too much. 600,000 university. Then TVET, say another 500,000. High school 3.5 million. So average cost ya university ni pesa ngapi? Per year? 50,000, 100,000? How much? 100,000. 200,000. Hata tutumie 200,000. Tutumie 200. Times 600,000. Tutumie 200. Times 600,000. So you'll find, nataka yani mkuu intellectuals. Si nyinyi watu wa university. So all the CDF ukicombine, inakuja kama 35 billion. Yote, useme yote inaenda kwa bursary. It's just 35 billion. Now university students ni 600,000. TVET students ni 500,000. High school student ni 3.5 million. Hiyo pesa itatosha? Vile mnasema ati yote ikienda mahali moja haitatosha. But kwa watu yote, si kila mtu ajiwezi. Not everybody hajiwezi. Kuna wale wanaweza afford. So some funds ni affirmative action fund. Takuja tu hapo. Yanasema some fund, yes, kunaweza kuwa na misuse ama nini, but thinking wholesomely haiwezi solve hiyo shida yote. So yani you have to have a baseline. Before engagement, you people must have a baseline. Yes, kuna truths, half truths, nini, but nyinyi ndio mnafaa kupeana guidance. Nyinyi ndio mko university. So pia nyinyi mkienda tu na fake news, unasikia tu propaganda, mtu amesema hivi, mnaenda nayo without critically thinking, alafu mnasema hakuna makazi, watu wataki kuandika, wataki experience. Employer pia anataka ule mtu kujituma. Yani you go beyond hii maneno yenu. So as university student, I urge you, please, mimi nikiwa university, I think nilikuwa kwetu ndo I was the first person ama the second kwenda university. Na vitu critical walikuwa na ni consult. Unaonaje hapa? Inaenda aje? I'm supposed to give them guidance. But pia mimi nikiflow, there's no difference between wewe, mtu hajasoma ama nini. So you are the first point of defense. Hizi vitu zote zenye serikali inafanya ilianzia somewhere. Wale wenye walikuwa UDA ilikuwa na manifesto. Hakuna kitu kwenye ya manifesto. UHC, funding model, na watu before election people gave their views for this thing to be in the manifesto. Watu walikuwa na kuanza vitu. Change ni difficult for everyone. In fact, everybody wants change except si kwake. Yani kila mtu anataka change, lakini hataki ifike kwake. So I urge you, and we have to agree. Uliona juzi memo ya Moi University wakisema wana suspend studies. Okay? Because the previous funding model ilikuwa universal. Wale wamesema universal. Yani kila student capitation yake ni the same. Is it the same to train all the students? Course ya medicine, engineering, wale wa BA, is it the same? It's not the same. So we have to have a common ground. We agree it's not, yani the old funding model had to go, irrespective of the new one. Irrespective. Yani we have to agree. Because universities zinafungwa because of that. Kuna student 1,000. 200 wanafanya medicine. Another 100 wanafanya engineering. Ni sawa tu, tusikizane, utaongea. Nani atakuletea mic? So kila mtu akifanywa capitation the same, the universities na collapse because it cost more to do certain course than the other. So if the other funding model is wrong, it's okay, but we have to have a baseline. Sindio? We have to have a baseline. We agree. We agree on the issue of finally, wacha nikimalizia. Sijui kuongea sana. But what I'll urge you as university students, what I'll urge you, please interrogate everything before react to. Just interrogate. Thank you.
Tupigie Higgins makofi tafadhali. Just clap. Comrades power. Comrades power. On my watch, it's exactly noon. I wanted to release you at noon so that I talk to the accounts people to sort you. Give me your ears. I'm talking to you. Just give me your ears. It doesn't cost you much. This is the point. I was supposed to release you at exactly noon. Okay. Aaron Kipsang Kering, I have got your ID. You can pick it from here. Now, quickly. It's noon. I'm supposed to release you so that then I know some of you are going far. But I'll do this. There are some questions that have not been responded to. I'd love us to move as gentlemen and ladies. Sawa sawa. Hello? Yeah, ebu wave from pigie tu nipungie mkono tu hivi. UDA. Siski UDA kazi ni kazi. Like I said, we are unapologetically UDA. Whether things are working, whether things are not comfortable, we are UDA and we like it. Sawa sawa. Sawa, UDA. Kazi ni kazi. Kwa hivyo, I will take 3 questions, allow them to answer, then we do housekeeping because hamjakunywa maji. I need to sort you, I need to ensure you are taken care of. Sawa? Ama namna gani? Comrades power! Comrades power! Comrades transact! Comrades disperse! Imefika hiyo time, so muharakishe hapo. A question. Faster. Bring me the mic.
One per row.
Yes. One per row. Okay, the rest of you sit down and listen.
Comrades power.
Power.
Comrades power. Aya, my question is this. To our beloved president and the UDA party. Wacha niongee Kiswahili ndio ingie vizuri Mimi nataka kuuliza hivi. Mko na mpango gani ya kupigana na corruption? Kwa sababu
give him your ears please.
Kwa sababu hii Kenya imekuwa hivi. Kenya imekuwa sasa siku hizi ni uko na nini na unajua nani. Number 2, we elect an MCA. Ngoja tu kidogo. We elect an MCA akiwa hana kitu kabisa. Akiingia pale within a span of 3 years ama 2 years ashakuwa na gari kubwa, ashatoka shimo, lakini wenye walimsupport hawana kitu. Hata saizi hapa corruption bado iko, kwa sababu leaders wakiongea hauambii time, lakini sisi tukiongea unatuambia time. Corruption iko kila mahali. Sasa mimi nataka kuuliza to our beloved president and our governor Susan Keheka. Haya, kuna youth, kuna KEOP, kuna ajira, kuna vitu mingi sana za youth zimewekwa. Ni youth wagani wamesaidika? Watoto wa wakubwa ndio wanasaidika. Tukienda huko tunakosa msaada. Tukienda tukishikana vikundi, terms and conditions zenye wanataka tukifanya, hatupati hiyo pesa. Inaenda kwa tenders, zinapatiwa watoto wa wakubwa wenye wanaitana aunties na uncles. Sasa swali yangu ni rahisi tu, ndio ni pass the mic.
Hiyo ni swali ngapi?
President na chama hii na gavana wetu wako na mpango gani ya kupiga corruption?
Asante sana, mpigie makofi. The next person here, ask a question there. On this row, tafadhali. Stand up. Speak up please.
Yes.
Comrades power. Comrades power. Comrades transact. Haya basi tumpatie time. Speak up.
Okay, I'm Shema Rika from Egerton University. My question is just a general leadership question. Now that I saw in the program we are having inclusion leadership. My question is that is the government aware of the harassment and abductions of young people who are trying to express themselves? Yeah, that is my question. And if they are aware, what are they doing? Yeah, that is my question.
Thank you very much. On this row, I want one question. Ashas, get me a mic here. I want a lady. I want a lady. Is there a lady here? Give this lady here. This lady here. Okay, you stand up, talk. Comrades power. Haya, tupatie madam up. Aulize swali. Kindly.
Thank you. My name is Sheila Kendi. And my question goes to the panelist who mentioned Article 43 of the Constitution. Article 43 of the Constitution, I agree, it clearly provides the right to accessible and adequate housing. And in the same article, there's right to education. So when we look at right to affordable housing, from where I come from, my village in Meru County, people have houses. People from vulnerable communities, they have a place to call home. And their goal is to ensure education of their children. They are working hard to make sure that their children access education. When you look at the new funding model, it is discriminatory in nature. We have addressed the whole issue of the new funding model, and I believe that the point is not yet home. We are focusing on the housing, and in this case our parents want us to access education, and this education our parents want us to access, it is expensive as per the new funding model. And my question is, us focusing on the housing and not on education in this case, is it not a misplaced attention? And if not, substantiate.
Apewe makofi mzuri, please clap for her. I'll come here. I'll start here. Because it's time to go home, you respond to the questions as short as possible and we get moving. Comrades, power! Comrades, power! Aya, now, UDA, come. Kuja, come. Kuja. Come, clap for him as he comes, please. Comrades, power! Comrades, power! Yeye nimeleta, mkisema tunasikiza. Sawa sawa? Ama namna gani?
Comrades, power! Comrades, power! Comrades, wisdom! Mimi nimekuwa nikinyima mic, sijui ni kwa nini. Nataka kuinject. Ni inject nisi inject? Hapa nimekuja kusema ukweli. Swali zote mmeuliza. Niseme nisiseme? Kwanza, hii party yetu ya UDA, this is our UDA party, iko na pesa. Haina. Siko nayo? Kweli si kweli? Na hii party yetu ya UDA ime-create hii Comrades chapter ili watutem kama Gen Z 2027. Kweli si kweli? Niseme nisiseme? Niendelee? Na sasa mimi nikuna kitu moja kuambia watu wetu wa UDA. One thing. I only have one thing. Hiyo pesa yote ya UDA na hii kitu yote yenye mmecreate sijui Comrades chapter. Hamwezi create Comrades chapter and then kitu mnakuja kutuambia hapa ni housing. Housing na tujasoma. Eti, let me continue. Comrades, relax. Acha nimalizie. Mheshimiwa hapa, Mheshimiwa namjua, former senator Mombasa, alisema they want to create a UDA academy. You cannot create a political academy na masomo ya hapa university atusomeshi. Kweli si kweli? La mwisho comrades. Comrades power. Ya mwisho comrades. Nataka kusema hivi. Then if they want us to join this Comrades chapter, and if they want this Comrades chapter to work, then hiyo pesa yote UDA iko nayo, they must give our vulnerable students in our universities bursaries. Kweli si kweli? All the comrades with disabilities are suffering in our universities. The people with disabilities are suffering in our universities. This UDA party wakitaka to join, wa make sure wameka welfare kiti yenye na cater for them. Kweli si kweli? Niendelee? Kuna yule jamaa wa Kabarak governor aliuliza swali ya kuinama. Hawajajibu, wamejibu hawajajibu. Comrades tunainama. Hiyo transaction wanasema ni ya leo tu, transaction ni ya leo. Wengine huko nje wanainama, watawasaidiaje? Niseme nisiseme? Asanteni comrades.
Piga makofi. Haya, comrades power. Comrades power. UDA Comrades chapter hatuogopi. Tumekuja kuzungumza ama sio? Fungua roho, usiogope. Hello? Haya, moja kwa moja tujibu maswali, tusonge mbele. Please run. Moja, I'll give you please. Just talk.
Sawa comrades. Nitajibu swali ya
Nakuru County. Ya Nakuru County.
Ya Nakuru County, but this guy from Kabarak.
Okay.
Kabarak is in Nakuru. Yule jamaa mwenye alisema anainama. So what he did indicate is that most of your projects get stalled because of lack of finances, right? Na wengine masomo pia ina stall sababu ya lack of pesa. So you listen, guys.
Let's give her, you have spoken, allow her to respond kindly.
So there's this challenge with the youths. They never access financial, in this institution of like banks, they're never given loans or financial assistance because huwa wanaitishwa collateral yenye hawana. But the government did establish the Youth Enterprise Fund in 2006 through state corporation under the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports. This cascaded down to the respective counties, and you'll find that in each and every county we have an office or a representative of the government handling the Youth Enterprise and Development Fund. So this fund is meant to kickstart the young entrepreneurs in their ventures. This fund is meant to train you on entrepreneurial skills and financial skills. Kwa wale wanapata tenders na wana pesa ya kufanya those tenders, this fund will enable you do those tenders. I'll move to the tenders. There's this question whether the county government gives tenders to the young people. Last year, there's something known as AGPO. I hope you all know what AGPO is. This is the government, tender government opportunities given to the youth, women, and the people, persons enabled differently. Last year, Nakuru County did 17% of AGPO. This year, we are 27.5%. If you get to PPIP even right now, that is the Public Procurement Information Portal, you get the tenders advertised there, and those that are reserved for the youth. Shida inakuanga capital ya kufanya hizi job. And I've clearly stated to you that there's that fund. In the county government of Nakuru, if you get to the Department of Trade and Corporation, we have the Youth Enterprise Fund. Visit Apple. Explain to them where you've stalled, like you indicated you've stalled in your project. They shall verify and assist you. Regarding the youth engagement, in terms of job in Nakuru County, I think the governor has really tried, because if we start with agriculture, there's enough CDP that currently has engaged over 500 youths who are like enumerators, monitoring farmers, collecting data, and linking them to the market. If you get to environment, we have 35 youth groups engaged in waste management and recycling, and they're earning out of it. You get to cleaning services, we usually engage youths, like 80%. And as you can see, Nakuru County has been ranked as the cleanest city, courtesy of our youths. You get to land and urban development and housing. Currently, there's 2,000 youths who are to be trained as artisans and certified by the MCA, National Constructions Authority. They're also partnering with the National Housing Corporation to train other youths on alternative building materials. Governor amejaribu. Amejaribu sana for the youth.
Asante. Asante sana. Comrades power. Ningependa Honorable Duale. There's been a lot of issues that have been, I'll come there. But Honorable Duale, umesikia sauti ya kutoka Nakuru. Umesikia vilio, umesikia claps, umesikia mambo kama hayo. In a minute, I'd love you to speak to that quickly because we did give you so much time.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Na uguzie ufisadi, muhimu sana.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to agree with, there's one gentleman who said that they did a lot of registration during the UDA by-elections here in London. And just the way Brian said, by the way, I'm not a girlfriend to anyone, so I'm a very straightforward human being. But
it's okay, let him talk.
But it's always very important. Ukiwa kwa siasa, I was the treasurer of URP at 23 years old. You know, that tells you saizi karibu nimalize youth, but nilijituma. One thing that I will want to tell the young people, or rather the comrades who are here today, that it's very important and vizuri sana tujitume. There's an issue ambayo ndugu yangu pale ameongea kuhusu ufisadi. You know, sometimes it's always good to put things the way they are. The president is doing, you know, we have to put policies in the first place. Like for example, this chief that people are talking about. I'm not an expert, but imagine the NHIF. People were creating, you know, fake hospitals just to mint money. But now that we have these policies in place, I'm sure some of these corruptions are going to be moved out. So,
thank you.
As an assembly, hapa Nakuru, we are doing our best. 60% of the legislators in the Nakuru County Assembly are young people, and we are doing this. We are all, every day we are asking for reports of even the 30% procurement opportunities that my friend mentioned there. So once we have these reports at the assembly, we table and we give a report. So it is always very important you also petition us as an assembly so that you can also ask these things on your behalf. Thank you.
Kuna comrade amekaa hapa hivi, youth inclusion. As the student leader who has been here and you've actually heard, you've seen what the people you actually lead are speaking to, I'd love you to actually can you ask these leaders who are seated here specifically what you think they should do for the comrades? Nataka directly wewe hapa hivi, in a minute, kindly.
Okay, asante.
Tawa, mko na kiongozi, acha aongee.
Asante. My request to the leaders sitting here, starting from our super section, Mheshimiwa Hassan Omar, I'd like to request you. Kuna issue umeongelelewa about kuinama. That's real. Kuinama, actually most of these people sitting here wasipoenda nyumbani na actually hata mimi nikikuja hapa chakula kitu kutoka hapa, so hopefully kuna kitu iko hapo tunakula kidogo na some allowance. Alafu Mheshimiwa, kindly.
It's okay. Just proceed.
Mheshimiwa, kindly, ukienda huko kwa wewe ni rais unafikia Mheshimiwa Ruto. Ukimfikia mwambie tuko na issues kidogo na hii funding model. I know kuna committee inashughulikia hiyo, wanaishughulikia. Hopefully by the time wanamaliza, unajua actually acha niwaambie there is a committee yenye ilikuwa selected and we are lucky that one of us from Egerton was selected among them. So hopefully atakuja na positive results. By the time inatoka, tukuwe optimistic that changes come made na all comrades should feel as comrades. Tusika discriminated. Lastly, nani moderator, I want to answer, kuna swali nani ameuliza Nimo about marginalized communities. So, as youths, let's have unity of purpose. Usiseme mimi ni wa Nyanza, usiseme mimi ni wa Murima, usiseme mimi ni wa wapi. We are youths. Na tukiamua ni 2027 tunasema we are youth. Mambo na ethnical tribal lines tuachane nayo. Ndio hata mimi nikisimama huko kwetu Nyamira simtani support. Wale wa Nyamira kwa
asante.
So tuachane mambo na tribal lines. Sisi wote ni wa Kenya na sisi wote ni comrades. Comrades power.
Power.
Comrades wisdom.
Asante. Honorable Wamurada. Wamaida. Can I say thank you on her behalf? Please.
Comrade power. Mimi ni comrade kama nyinyi. Mimi ni comrade wa
Okay.
Mimi ni comrade University of Nairobi. Na nataka kusema hivi, nimeelewa shida penye iko. sisi hatuwaelewi kenye munapitia through mkiwa shule. Lakini nataka niwaambie hivi, kama watu wa Nakuru, as a nominated member wa Nakuru, this is a solution. Nimesema I'm sponsoring a bill, and the reason kwa nini nilisponsor hii bill, it's one thing. Tuache kumekiwa decisions with our budget as the youth of Nakuru County. What the bill will do, it will create a board where you, the youth, will be heading that board, will be making decisions on that, on the budget of the youth. Why am I saying this? Kama mna make your budget, si mtakaa chini mseme ni wangapi wanainama, tutengeneze hizo programs zenye watu wanainama ndio wapate kitu ya kukula. Hii story hamtaki, hivyo ndio iko. Otherwise, if you are not in the decision making, and this is what the solution we are trying to give you, we have to empower you to make the decision making. We have to give you rules and policies so that you can make the decisions.
Thank you.
Yes.
Asante. Comrades, power. I want us to actually, I have realized we have got so much that is unaddressed. I love us to come up with a framework that ensures that hii conversation haiishi hapa. First and foremost, I want the leadership of the Comrades chapter UDA to come up. Wakuje hapa. Brian. These are our interim leaders. Comrades, power. Mtu hakatai mwito, anakata aliloitiwa. So, ninataka kuintroduce leaders hapa, and then I propose the next stage. If you don't listen to me and them, we are not moving. So the interim leadership, come here. Interim leadership that are available here. I love them to stand. Then I want the panelists to stand as well. Comrades, power. Comrades, power. Fine. Now, can you listen to me? I want your 2 minutes of silence so that I speak. I have got 2 years, so let's get moving. Number one, we have got an interim leadership here to start this conversation because we want these chapters to go up to the college level. What we will be moving, and the proposals we want to move from here, mkitoka hapa, you give us a regimented structure on how we engage you mpaka pale chini, so that then this town hall does not end here. Sisi wote wenye tumekaa hii side ingine nataka tusimame. I want us to do one thing. All of us. Let's all stand up. Let's all stand up. All of us stand up. We've been sitting for a very long time. I want us to stretch. Comrades, power. Comrades, power. Okay. So I wanted you to see these people. I want to bring in the SG. He's going to actually guide as we move.
Asanteni sana. Just have a seat as we do the concluding aspects. Nataka kuambia hawa vijana wenzenu, your fellow youth these young men and women came to us with an idea. This idea is now being actualized through the Comrades chapter. It is being actualized through these town halls, and through them, in a consultative process, we will do 2 things. We will lead a process of electing a more representative leadership that is emanating from the Comrades, by the Comrades, and for the Comrades. Number 2, we shall also ensure that we have a program, that program that gives you the capacity to engage with policy and to engage with politics. So that, inshallah, by the grace of God, so that we are able, together with this leadership, to interrogate more and more of the policies, so that policies that are made by this government are more responsive to the needs of the young people. And secondly, policies made by this government are able to ensure that some of you then are able to get that leadership position eventually. As James said, once upon a time, like many of us, they were there. One day, you will also come here. onto this platform, so that then you become the transition from that policy participation to policy implementation. So for 1 minute, I will allow the chair to speak and wish you well and tell you how they want to integrate and bring on board the broader formation of the Comrades. Then we give the closing summations to the Economic Council and the panel. Then we will now look for a way not to come to a town hall, but to come to your universities one after another and other higher institutions of learning, including TVETs and ADVERTISE and all other places, so that we can engage you in constructive policy discussion, including the funding model and other things that affect you directly. So, Brian Kipkorir, say something.
Comrades, wisdom. Comrades, power. Wait first. Wait. I will allow my SG first to say something, then I'll be finalizing for my comments. Thank you.
Tafadhalini, we must allow people to speak. Speaking is a way of engagement and getting constructive engagement. Kwa hivyo, let us agree. Let us speak. Wacha Gitonga ongea kidogo. Gitonga is from one of the universities. Just introduce yourself.
Comrades, wisdom. Comrades, wisdom. Comrades, there's no bride price too high for a beautiful woman. Comrades, wisdom. Comrades, I think I'll just address one thing. We are an interim team. We are not the final team. The idea emanated from our chairperson called Brian Korir. He had an idea to engage with the government. He's the one who will speak, and probably I think for those who were with at the beginning, we began on how this journey began. And so, comrades, there will be elections. My friend over there has told me that we should choose somebody from there. My brother in a blue shirt, you mentioned that we should choose somebody from this region. So we are just an interim team. We are the ones who brought up the idea, and we want to ensure that we will be able to live structures that once we do elections, say kama ukisha kuwa preso, you will find something already ready made. Sio iko sawa?
Sana. Wacha sasa tumpatie Brian. Lakini please keep it brief. Don't allow to engage the...
Comrades, I want to speak with you, and we have to recognize a situation in ground that is happening in the state affairs of this country. We need to be informed, we need to be engaged, we need to lead together with this government. And by that virtue, I think it's very important we all agree as youths, not by segment, not by factions. We have to stand as a youths. So my clarion call to you people, as whenever we are doing in the interim course of this chapter, we are here to get your issues. Those issues that you are saying are the ones that we're going to take on place in the initiative of the action call to whenever the changes that are needed to ensure that the comrades all over the country can be inclusive in that leadership and in the structure that help us to guide this comrades chapter going forward. Asanteni sana.
Sasa mujitambulishe mmoja baada mwingine, jitie jina na institution yako na ile kazi unafanya wakati unaendelea kukaa. Haya.
I'm Vivian Nyaminta Bosire from the Technical University of Kenya.
I am Tony Ogembo from Mount Kenya University. Allow me just say this.
Okay, just give it to the next. Give it to the next person. We'll talk later. Please, we'll have a forum to engage. Aya, introduce your co-host. Simunamona huyo.
Mogesi Maroa, President MKU Parklands Law Campus and the Chair of the Council of Governors in the Executive Council of the UDA Students Chapter.
I am Oba Abdi. I'm the interim treasurer of the UDA Comrades Chapter, and I'm from the University of Nairobi.
Just introduce yourself, please. You've already spoken.
I am Evan Serem from Kabarak University.
Comrades of Goodwill, I'm Cheruyo Ronald from Multimedia University of Kenya, and I work with the national team.
Patea Robin.
I'm Robin Omondi Mito from the Technical University of Kenya. I'm the Secretary of Membership.
Vile waliweza kuja wako wajua what happened. This is not the entire council, and as we move around, we will create inclusivity. Kwa hivyo, for now, this is an interim team that has planted the seed. This interim team will now make sure they are inclusive, because this is not only for university students, it's for all institutions of higher learning. Kwa hiyo kwa kuweza kuweka msingi so that they set the ball rolling, wacha tuamkue Comrade. Also remind me of my days when we shook the Moi regime. Nikisema Comrade power, tuseme power to these young men. Comrades power! Comrades power! Comrades power! Asanteni sana. Sasa Profesa Machuki, kuna maswala yaliulizwa juu ya universal health care. Kuna maswala yaliulizwa juu ya education, which is their principal goal. Can you please respond to some of those issues?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, let me take this opportunity to appreciate the issues that have been raised here. Part and parcel of the agenda for this meeting is actually leadership, mentorship. And when you talk about mentorship, you must have a mentor and a mentee. And when you get into the political realm, there are some democratic ideals that are important. And one of them is universal. It is love one another, respect one another, and have a common purpose as young people. So, the questions that have been asked about universal health coverage and the new funding model, but I would like to draw the attention to the fact that anytime change is introduced, there is bound to be issues to do with resistance. Resistance comes in two ways. One, maybe the change is not addressing the pertinent issues, and therefore there is behavioral resistance to those who are affected. Number two, there is a system issue, systemic. The resources are not adequate, or the structures are not there, or the systems are not there to deliver. But one thing that I want to assure us is that the new funding model was well intended. Let me say this. I don't want to go into a conversation that will land me in trouble, because the matter is in court, but I want to say this. Let me draw a parallel. All of us seated here went through university, and we were receiving funding from Higher Education Loans Board. The funding we were receiving was not the same across. I received 30,000 throughout my entire study, and there are all those other colleagues of mine who received 40, 50, 60. At that point, the information we were giving help was used to determine the level of need to give us the funding that we needed. So this issue of banding has not started yesterday. It has been there, only that it was never disclosed to us that you have been given this 30,000 because your level of need was determined. It was never disclosed to us. What we have done and what government is doing is to disclose that funding will be advanced according to the level of need. Secondly, for those of us who are talking about the differentiated unit cost, the differentiated unit cost had many problems. I've not had any one of us here, now that we said, Bwana Secretary General, that this Comrades chapter is a chapter that will be able to put together issues and mainstream the comrades in the policy making process in government, because that is the intent. Leadership, mentorship. I have not heard from any one of us here who can come and present a comparative empirical analysis of the differentiated unit cost funding model and the new funding model, and then be able to advance the merits of the former against the demerits of the current. All that conversation is probably what the committee that has been established will come up with. But by the end of the day, the empirical fact is that the new, the differentiated unit cost framework of funding universities almost brought universities to a halt. 23 universities were almost becoming bankrupt. They were being liquidated because of that funding model. And now, this one, the lady who talked about the difference between, the need between affordable housing and affordable university education, right? She was there when she was speaking, so she's seated here, right? You may get to have data that there are those who need this social affordable housing more, and there are those who need affordable education as well. So we are dealing with social deficiency. There are those who require decent housing and affordable housing. There are also those who require affordable education. Government is there by virtue of constitutional requirement to provide both to all of them. So there is no discrimination. In terms of funding, the differentiated unit cost was not student-based. It was not student-based. It was a university, University of Nairobi, Egerton University. You have 100 students whom you have admitted, taking different courses. We give you a wholesome figure of 800,000 shillings for all those students. Within that, you have students who have a higher need. You have students who do not have any need at all. Now, how do you deal with that inequality? That was spreading inequality. This time, if you go to University of Nairobi, you are doing engineering. You are in Egerton, you are doing veterinary medicine. Funding follows you. The university is offering you service. Government is buying that service on your behalf from the university. So if your level of need is so extreme, that has to be exhibited by your application process, the information you give. Right? And then, government is able to give you loan that is equivalent to your level of need, to give you scholarship that you will not refund equivalent to your level of need. How better can it be? I am here, a professor of University of Nairobi, and I'm working in government, and you are from your parents. I don't know what your parents do, but I assume your parents are paupers. They don't have any income. Then my kid is funded the same as you. Yet I'm able to afford. I'm able to afford. So why will I get government funding at the same level as you who needs it more? Have you answered that? Have you can answer that question? That is the intent of the new funding model. Nothing else. The issues about implementation and all that are issues that relate to the means testing instrument. The information you supply when you apply for funding. So, I want to avoid going into details because matters that can be canvassed in court will bring evidence and all that. And I will be very interested to actually get to know what is it that is defective in the new funding model. When it comes to discrimination, we talk about discrimination. In the Kenyan system, the Kenyan economic system, you have the haves and the have-nots. Why will it be possible that some of ourselves in society, we live in upmarket residences, others are in slums? It's according to the level of affordability and economic power. This is the same thing that goes all the way to the services that the government is providing. So, in terms of critiquing the new funding model, I want to urge all of us, now that the party is molding you as potential leaders who will play a role in conversations regarding to policy. Please, one, an assignment for you. Just get the data and the statistics about around 5 years back when the differentiated unit cost was being implemented by government. And the year 2022, when the KCSE students 2022 were admitted on the new funding model, and 2023. Then get the facts right, because you have your intellectual output. There are statisticians here, you have economists here, and all of us. So that we can engage in this conversation in a manner that is fact-based, not attitudinal, perceptual, and fiction. Let us face the facts. This aspect of discrimination, that the new funding model is discriminatory, it is the use of the term discriminatory does not apply, because for all the time government has funded universities, even in the previous model, HELP used to give us loans at different rates. Omar Hassan Omar, right? I was with you. You were receiving 10,000. I was receiving 30. The reason why you were receiving 10 is because you supplied information which placed you, your level of need was not so much as mine. There was someone who was receiving 60,000. And it was never disclosed to us. The only mistake that we have done is to make things open and transparent. And we are ready to engage. I don't want to go deeper, but that is the case. Young sister, the issue of affordable housing, it is probably because your parents have given you some shelter, but you have not confronted a case where there is need for affordable housing. Thank you very much.
Asante sana. Njue say something, and then we close with Bwana James Maina for 1 minute. Njue.
Okay, thank you very much, SG. This lady from KU who talked about the export of labor, and she wanted to know where they can actually visit to get more information, and whether agencies charge anything to job seekers. Now, if you go to our website, I'll repeat it, www.neaims.go.ke. You'll find the list of the counties where we are. And here in Nakuru, we are actually at Repa Building along Moi Avenue or Moi Road. Now,
let's get going.
Yes, let's finish up.
Okay, so again, if you visit our website, you'll be able to know or to get the list of all the registered recruitment agencies. Please don't make use of any unregistered agency to travel. And you must always insist on getting a work visa anytime you get a contract with the recruitment agencies that we've registered. Please ensure that you engage registered recruitment agencies only and not unregistered agencies. Thank you.
Asante sana. Let us hear a little from our brother James Maina on matters of university housing, students housing, hostels and housing. Just put on the mic, please.
Can you pay attention, please? Attention. Comrades power. You know, when I was a student like you, I never thought I'll come in front of students again and answer tough questions like I used to ask. So I salute you all for the questions that you have asked. Let me say, someone asked whether the affordable housing program will transcend the next government. Yes, housing is already anchored in the Constitution, and therefore, unless the Constitution is changed, you cannot change the light that is enshrined in the Constitution. Number two, that right is actualized by the Affordable Housing Act that was enacted by Parliament. And the Affordable Housing Act provides, the purposes of that act is to provide construction of affordable housing as well as provide long-term funding models for home ownership. What we are doing currently is giving houses at a long-term tenant purchase, meaning the rent that you pay to that house reduces the amount of money that house has been sold to you. And the long term goes to that years, meaning you are already secured for the next generation. So affordable housing program is here to stay. It has been used by governments across the world to provide employment, to provide home ownership. The goods that you find we import from, for example, China. China was able to develop its own manufacturing industry because of working on affordable housing program. Today, you students who are in school, you want to get jobs after you leave. You want to gain skills as you are in school. And these programs, projects that we are working on, offers training, training areas for students. The program is also working with MSc and Juakari. How? We have set aside 75 items across the construction that are given directly to Juakari and to SMC to produce. And we hope this production that is being done by MCs will eventually culminate to cottage industries, like what is happening in China, like what is happening in India. Tiles, for example, in India are never produced by big factories. They are produced by cottage industries. And that's what we hope. We are incubating businesses from Juakari to MSME and to greater investments. And therefore, this is a program that is offering opportunity. Lastly, on skills, let me say, every opportunity that you get to develop your skills, doubles your opportunity for success. So when you go back to your schools, the students who are working within the built environment, those who are also working in finance, the opportunities are broad both in this affordable housing program. And to add my speech, let me say also this: opportunities for leadership are not only in the political seats that are given out by the Constitution. Many presidents, President Truman of the US, now using that country, President George W. Bush, all of them were managers before they became presidents. So you can still become a manager and develop to become a leader and a political leader. So you can be incubated in several areas. You can be incubated like Secretary General, who went straight to politics. Our professor here went to the university, he's still a leader. So let's try all opportunities that are given out by society, and then we'll become better leaders and we build a better Kenya for all. Thank you.
Asante sana. I am extremely grateful. Tushukuru mapanelists wetu, tunashukuru moderators wetu, but most importantly na washukuru nyote comrades on my behalf, on behalf of the party, on behalf of the party leader, His Excellency President William Ruto. We are extremely grateful. We feel the honor, we feel the excitement, and we believe we will continue to engage to deepen our democracy and for a better Kenya. Asanteni, asanteni vijana, asanteni wanafunzi, asanteni moderators. Comrades power. Sasa tuimbe national anthem yetu ambao pia ni maombi, na tuende tukiwa kwa watu wamoja.